Hello everyone, welcome in the lecture 10.1. In this lecture we are going to discuss about Python functions, right? So it's very good topic of programming language. Function is very important part of any programming language, specifically in Python. Function is very simple and very easy to use. So we have to learn functions definitely. So in this chapter, in this lecture, we are going to learn what is function, what is the importance of function, how to use built-in function, how to create user-defined functions, types of user-defined functions, what is parameter, what is argument, types of argument, and recursive function. So let's start. First of all, let us discuss what is function. So function is a block of reusable code that performs a specific task. It helps in organizing code, making it more modular, reusable, and easy to maintain, right? Once again, in very simple language, in layman language, we can understand what is function. It is a block of reusable code, right? Means whenever you want to write a code for particular purpose, for solving a particular problem, and that code you want to reuse in future in the same programming language, then you can write that code under the name of function, and you can make that function with the proper name, and you can call in other program in future. Now one thing more is here, once function is defined, you can call that block of code multiple times. You don't need to repeat the block of code for different purposes in the same program. If you want to call those block of codes 100 times, you can call only with the name of single function name, right? This is why function is useful. Now we have to understand here, we can define a function using def keyword, right? We have to use def keyword, and we have to follow by the name, one proper function name, and then parenthesis. Inside of parenthesis we can specify any parameter as an input, as a variable. Okay, so I'm going to tell you once one by one, in very deep way, in very simple way, practically. So please watch it carefully so that we can understand what is function and how to define it. So once again, function is a block of reusable code that performs specific tasks. See, once suppose what is the use of function, we have to understand. The use of function is like, if you have a party, in that party multiple parts are to be done, right? Like catering, like decoration, like arrangement of guests, like gifts, everything are different tasks. Now you have given one task to one person for catering, you have given one task like decoration to other person, and you have given one task to other person for other purpose, how guests will be coming, how to provide them gift, means whatever you are offering. So different persons are performing different tasks, and they are performing their task in their own domain. They are not going to take the help of any other department. Okay, and when they are going to do all their tasks properly in combined way, then your main problem, that is party, that is you can say marriage party, is going to be solved. In the same way, if you talk about a car, in car we have multiple different parts which are working independently, and they are performing their job, and because of their independence job, complete car is running. For example, wheels, a car is having 4 wheels, and all wheels are running independently, separately. But if one of the wheel is not running, or any malfunction is there, any problem is there, then entire car will stop, they will not go back. In the same way, engine is performing its own task, steering is performing its own task, brake is performing its own task, and the gearbox is performing its own task. Means different parts in the cars are there, and they all are performing their task independently. Okay, and in combined way, when they are performing all their tasks in combined way, then complete car is running properly. In the same way, we divide a problem in programming language into subtasks, in small tasks, and each task is known as function. And when this task is working independently, then we can combine all these tasks together. So when you go with the technical term, then this is known as top-down approach. In top-down approach, we divide problems into smaller tasks, and each tasks are carried out independently, they are executed properly, and once they are executed properly without any error, then we mix them up. So that is known as bottom-up approach. when we combine all separate functions together to make a complete program, then that is known as bottom-up approach. Okay, so we are not going top-down and bottom-up approach. We are just taking name of function here. Now in each function, in each user-defined function, we have three parts. Okay, first is function definition, second is function invocation or function calling, third is function argument. Okay, so I'm taking you here for the practical demo. So first of all, function definition. So in Python we have to use def keyword, def, then the name of a function. For example, I am giving names, I am giving my addition. You can take any name, valid name. It should be starting from letter or underscore. There should not be any white space in between, and there should not be any special symbol. Means all the rules and guidelines you have to follow, which we use for variable name. The same name and same ruling, same name and same rule we have to follow here also when we are defining a function name. After then we have to use parenthesis, opening, closing. Means after any word, if we have this parenthesis symbol, it means that is a function. So my addition is now going to be a function which we are going to define, right? After this, put colon sign. Okay, and then wherever cursor is coming with the proper indent, you start typing from here. For example, I'm taking n equal to some value, m equal to some value, and result equal to n plus m. Simply we are adding, and then we are printing. We are using print statement and we are running it. Result. So I am pressing F5. I am saving the document. Function 2. Okay. Now see the output. So output is not coming. Nothing is coming. But we have given everything. Everything we have mentioned here. We have mentioned the name of variables. We have mentioned the processing part, and we have mentioned also print statement, but result is not coming. Why? Because function, this is function definition. We are defining a function. We are telling functions what you have to do. Means this function will do what? It will allocate values to variable, and then it will be finding the addition of two numbers, and then storing result to the third variable sum or result, and after this result calculation, it is going to print the result. But after definition, we haven't told anywhere, means we haven't called anywhere. We are not calling this function. So how to execute this function? To execute this function, we have to come out of the scope of function and just type my addition. Okay, the name of function which we have defined, the same name we have to take here also without def keyword, and after then there is no requirement of colon sign. So this is known as function calling. This is for function call. Okay, and this is for function definition. So this part is function definition and this part is function call. So we got two parts. So if we have defined a function but we are not calling it, then it is useless. And if we are calling a function but that is not defined, so it will throw error. So let's see the example output. So now here we got the output 99. So for example, if we don't have this function defined in our program, okay, and we are calling this function my addition, then it is throwing error. My addition is not defined, means anywhere it is not found in the program, right? So in the same way, any function, right? Print is also a function. Print is also a built-in function, and this is a user-defined function. So this function we are calling, just we are calling, and somewhere the definition of this function is stored in the Python library. Okay, so if we are not calling print, it doesn't mean we are not using that library. That library is already there, but we are not calling them. So as soon as we are going to call print statement, that will execute entire definition. Same way here, as soon as we are calling my addition, it is going to call entire definition part. Okay, one more example I am taking. This is one function. Okay, again we are just copying pasting. My addition, I am putting it my addition 1, and now this is second function my addition 2. Okay, now here calling 1. Okay, now see the beauty of this function. I am calling this my addition once again, and here in the place of this number we are putting a small number and we are going to multiply them for result. Okay, so now see the beauty of function definition. Once we have defined this part, we can call multiple time. So multiple time it will calculate entire addition, means whatever statement we have given inside of function definition, that will be executed multiple time whenever you are going to call it. So we are calling it 3 times, it will be executed 3 times and output will be coming 3 times only. See, okay. Now if you are calling a function 2, so now this call automatically, this function will be calling this function 2, and again we are calling function 1, means my addition function, again it will go to this block of statement to call to execute. See the output. So we got here 99, 35, again 99. Okay, it doesn't matter wherever you have defined your function, but it should be within the program, okay, in the same file. And if it is there in the same file, then it will be executed automatically. It will be finding automatically its own function. So this was about the function. So we have learned in this concept, first of all we have 2 parts: function definition. Function definition start with the keyword def. Okay, after then we have to provide a name of function. Any name you can provide, but it should not be any keyword. The naming rule of variable we have to follow here also. Okay, and this is the example of function with no argument, with no value. In this function there is no argument and there is no return statement. So we are going to discuss again what are these things. So function, 3 parts of function we understood: function definition, function invocation. Definition means we can define a function using def keyword followed by function name and parenthesis. Inside of parenthesis we can define any parameter input. Parameter means it provides input, it provides value to the function, right? I will take one example. Suppose example is there, one singer is there, right? And that singer is very good singer, he knows how to sing, everything he knows, means what's about the rhythm, everything he knows. Only you are telling that singer to come in my farewell party and sing some songs. Okay, so he's coming and he's singing some songs. You are not specifying which song. He is singing any song of his own choice because he know well. So you have just called him, right? So he is performing his job. So calling means you are calling that function, that expertise. Second, now what is argument here? Argument means you are giving some input to the singer. The singer will be singing 2-3 specified songs, means some songs which you have listed. Okay, those songs you have transferred to the singer, and now singer is going to sing only those songs. Okay, but you're not going to teach how to sing, what to sing, but only just you're telling which song he is going to sing. Okay, so that is argument. Now next we have this syntax, definition of function, def keyword, where you going to use function body, and then return. Return is optional whether we are going to use it or not. Return means I will be telling you if you don't want to display the output within the function, if you want to return the output after calculation to the same point where it was called, means from where the function was called to the same point you want to return the output, that is the use of return statement. For example, when we use the len function in string list tuple, so len function is not going to display the output immediately, it is going to return the output somewhere. So I will tell you example how to do this. Okay, now so we are going to discuss about the types of user defined function. So how many types we have? Basically we have 4 types: function with no argument with no return value, function with argument with no return value, function with no argument with return value, and function with argument with return value. So first of all we have function with no argument with no return value. Okay, so in this example you can understand function definitions given sum all. Okay, in this function inside we have defined one variable n equal to 5 and print square of n. So now this is printing n into n function call. It means when this function is going to be called, then this function is going to initialize the variable with the value and printing output also. Means no argument is given and no written value is coming. So this is very simple example which we have done till now. So this program which we have done till now here, this is the example of function with no argument with no return value. Okay, there is no argument and there is no return value in this program. But now second type of program we have here, key function with argument with no return value. So let us understand what is argument. Okay, so now I am going to take only one function here, for example, or can take both the functions. First of all I am doing this here. So function with argument means we are going to pass values here when we are calling the function. This time here only we are passing the value, so this is known as function argument. Okay, so whenever we pass value to the function calling routine, so that is known as function with argument. And now here we have to specify these values in the form of variable. So we can write n comma m, means two arguments we are passing, so we have to specify two variables here. So now what will happen, this is known as parameter, the variable which we specify in the function definition, that is known as parameter. Okay, and the actual value which we pass here in the function calling point, that is known as function argument. So now this 100 will be transferred to n and this 200 will be transferred to m. So in the same sequence it will be transferred. N will be getting 100, m will be getting 200. So now n plus m will be added and the result will be coming. So we are just printing the output, we are not returning the output, so there is no return statement. In the same way here also we are taking n comma m. Okay, this is function with argument with no return value. So here again we are calling function 2. Okay, 5 6. So let us print. So we got the output 330, right? So this is function with argument with no return value. Understood? Now next we have function with no argument with return value, means there is no argument but value we have to return. Now I am going to do undo. Okay, now here what we are going to do, sorry, there is no return, there is no need of argument but return. So in the place of this print statement we have to return, use return statement, return result. Here also return result. So should we run it? So we are going to run it, but output will not be coming, right? So you can see program is running but there is no output. Why? Because the value has been returned. The output is going to be returned but we are not holding it. So if a function is returning a value, so we must hold somewhere. So for example we can take r1 equal to and r2 equal to this. We can print r1 r2. Okay, so this is the example of function with no argument but with return value. And what is function with argument with return value? Same thing, don't specify the value here, just take here n comma m. Same here also n comma m and pass a value. Now in this program, this is a program of function with argument with return value. We are passing the argument also and we are going to return the value also. Return means within function, we are not returning means within function we are not printing the output. We are printing the output where we call the function, right? Let's run it. We are getting the output. Okay. So function with argument with return value we have understood. Now what is argument, what is parameter? Okay, so now we have understood about the function with no argument with return value, and now function with argument and with return value. As you can see here in the program, we are passing the argument and also we are executing, we are calculating the result, and after result calculation we are just returning the value. We are not printing within function. So whenever we use return statement, it means function is not going to display the output directly on the output window on the console wherever it is used. It will be returning the value to the calling point. This is a calling point where value is going to be returned after calculation, and it will go to result, and then now we can use result here as an output. Okay, so let us see the example. Now in this program we have my addition, in which we have two variables, nm, which is just performing addition task and returning the result. The same my addition 2 is there, second function, which is also having two variables and performing the task of multiplication and returning the result. Means it is not displaying result within function. Okay, so if you don't want to return or don't want to use this return state, if you don't want to display the result within function, then we can use return statement. So what is the use of it? I'm telling you. For example, right now I am calling this my addition function, okay, and I am calling addition 2 function. So what happened, I am going to not pass here my addition, whether I am going to call this function my addition 1 with very single value, for example 2, 3, and again comma the same function I am calling with the 5, 6. So what will happen? Try to understand. Now first of all, this function is going to be called, and this function is going to call, and 2 and 3 will be added here, will be 5, and now this 5 will be returned back. Means now this function, after execution of this function, whatever output is generated, that output will be the input for this function 2. Okay, the same way here, after calling an execution of function 1 once again with the value 5 and 6. Okay, see now difference. Now the same function is working differently for different input. If 2 and 3 is passed, it will be returning 2 plus 3 5, and when 5 and 6 are passed, it will return 5 plus 6, which is 11. It means after execution it will be here 5 and it will be here 11. Now this 5 and 11 will be transferred to nm, and 5 11 will be multiplied, and it will return the result again. Okay, so it will return the value in R2. So see the output 55, correct? So in this way we use return statement. Basically we use return statement when we want the function output should be performing as an input for other part of program. When we make a program in which some particular task is given, then different part of program work for different purpose. So some part of program work for one purpose and calculate the value and provide the result, and that result, that output, perform the input task for other function. Okay, so in this way we do it. So I hope you understood about the function types, how different types of functions which you are using here. So first of all, once again we can have recap: function with no argument with no return value. Second is function with argument with no return value, function with no argument with return value, and function with argument with return value. So with the help of these examples we can understand very easily. Next we have to understand what is argument, right? So what is argument? Then argument is in kind of in simple language I will tell, argument is a piece of information passed to the function while calling. Means when we are going to call to the function, that time of if any information we are passing, whether it is numeric, whether it is string, whether it is float, whether it is list, tuple, anything we are passing inside of function call, inside of parenthesis, that is function argument. Okay, it is the data you supply to the function's parameters so that the functions can work with specific value. Okay, arguments appear when you call the function. So when we are calling function, then only argument is there. So just like example is there, find some 33, 45, 66, 66 and Ravi. So it doesn't matter if you are passing direct value, we can pass also variable. Okay, that is also argument, because variables are also going to have some values. Now what is parameter? Parameter is a variable in function definition. So when the same thing we are going to write in function definition part, so that is known as parameter. In function definition we can't write direct values. Direct constants are not allowed in function definition. We need to use variables. So those variables are going to be known as parameter. It's a placeholder that specifies what kind of values a function can accept when it is called. and a parameter appears in a function signature or definition. This is also known as signature or function definition. Okay, so once again I will be taking with the example of the previous program. In this program, this is function argument and this is parameter. Okay, and for example, if I'm taking a equal to some value, okay, and b equal to some value, so we can pass here a comma b also. So this is also argument only. Okay, the result will be calculated based on passed value. Okay, got it? So this is argument, this is parameter. Great. Now one thing more I would like to say, we need to keep in mind what type of information we are passing to the function. The same type of information will be supplied. Okay, if we are passing here, suppose if we are performing here task of addition and here we are performing the task of multiplication, it means numeric values are required. And if by mistake we are passing here a and b, okay, string, so it will throw error. Okay, because the similar kind of data we need to supply with whatever task we are performing inside a function. According to that task only we need to specify the value. We doesn't matter of variable, we are passing here numeric values or string values, doesn't matter, but the matter will come when it is going to be executed. Okay, so keep in mind that also. Okay, now next we have types of arguments. So how many types of arguments we have? Basically we have 4 types of argument. Then first argument is here positional argument. Try to understand what is positional argument. So these arguments are passed to the function in order in which they are defined. Okay, it means if we are calling a function and we are first of all passing a string, one string and second is age. So in function parameter, when we are defining function in there, the name will hold the first value, which is string. Either you write here age and name this side, so age will get this Alice and this other variable will get this value 30. Okay, so this is about the positional argument. Each positional argument corresponds to a parameter in the function definition based on its position. So I am taking you with the example how to do it. For example, now I am removing all other parts. I am putting it to comment so that it can be reutilized in future. If I have a function def records, and here we have first of all name, then age, then marks. Okay, print name, age, marks, age, marks, right? Now see, we are talking about the positional argument. It means we have to pass in the same sequence. So in when we are calling records, so we need to pass here name first of all, then age, and then age is more 20, and then marks will be 88. Okay, so if you are executing this program, so now name is coming Amit, age is coming 20, marks is coming 88. But if we are passing suppose 20 age here and then name and then marks, what will happen? See the output. So now the value, first value went to transfer to name, second value transfer to age, and third value 88 came to marks. Okay, came to marks, 88 came to marks. Now, so this is the use of positional argument. The position which you are defining here, the same position should be followed here also in definition. Okay, understood. Now next we have keyword arguments. So if you don't want to stick to the positional argument. If you don't want to give in the same sequence, if there is some limitation of sequence, so that sequence limitations we can override with the help of keyword argument. In this keyword argument, arguments that are passed by explicitly specifying the parameter name with the value. Okay, and these they allow to specify argument in any order as long as the parameter name is mentioned. For example, see, name age is same here, but when you are calling the function, that time only we have defined the same name of variable in function call. Okay, so when we are going to call the function, the same time if you are defining the name also, name of variable also along with the value, so it means that will be keyword argument. So here, if I am writing here name equal to, means I am writing a name equal to Amit, age equal to 22, and this is marks equal to 88. So this name of variable and this should be same, it must match. Okay, so it means now if we have mentioned here with the keyword age 22, so if this sequence we are not following, then doesn't matter, it will go to the same variable name. Okay, so you can see name is Amit, age 22, marks 88. So if you are going to put marks here, okay, in the front, again the value will be same, there is no change in the sequence. The same way if you are writing here marks, if age we are writing at the end, again here no change because we have given keyword, so there is no need to use the same positional argument. Default argument means we have sometime we have the situation where user is not going to provide the input. In that situation, program should not get stopped. So if you want to provide some default value for calculation purpose, so we can provide default value. So as an example, you can see, so default value we have to provide when we are defining the variable. In the function definition, when we are providing parameter, that time only we have to provide the default value. For example, in the same program, if I am going to write here name equal to NA, okay, marks equal to 0 and age equal to also 0. So if I am not going to provide any value, if I am just calling the function record, then see the output name NA, age 0, marks 0. And if I am writing here name like Amit and rest other information I am not passing, then see age and marks are coming 0. Okay, and again if I am writing here second value, so that is going to be the value of marks. Okay, now marks value is 33. In the same way, if age is given, then the value will go to age. So it means we have given default values. If default values, if any age is not given, then by default age is 18. See, so this is the use of default value. Means if any input is skipped by the user, missed by the user, but your program should not get stopped, it should display some output. So for that purpose we can use default argument. Next we have variable length argument. Variable length argument means, now here you can see in the previous example we were passing limited number of arguments. If we are passing 3 arguments in function definition, then we are supplying 3 arguments, 3 values to the function calling also. If we are calling with the true value in the function calling, then we are defining the function definition 2 arguments. But there are some situations where you don't know how many values you need to pass to the function definition, or how many values you are going to call with function. So for that purpose we can define variable length of argument. So these arguments allow us to pass an arbitrary number of arguments to a function, and these are 2 types. One is a non-keyword variable length argument and second is keyword variable length argument. So first of all, let us understand what is this non-keyword variable length argument. For example, we want to perform simple addition task. Okay, let us do that one. So we are defining a variable, say num, and just put here asterisk symbol in the beginning of this variable. This is known as pointer in C++ language, but here we can tell only asterisk because there is no concept of pointer here. it is just only for reference. So we have to use asterisk symbol, and this will be combining all the value in the form of, you can say, list. Okay, so first of all let us print it. Num, and now in record when we are going to call it, so I am just passing one value. See the output 33, so it's coming into form of tuple. 55, okay, again means any number of variable we can provide here. We don't need to specify variable for each argument. All the values will be transferred to only one argument, and that argument is known as num. Num is now working as tuple. Now this is tuple. So if you want to perform addition task, so simply you can use sum function of tuple we can use, and it will display addition of all the numbers. And if you want to iterate, if you want to work with a single value, then you can iterate for a in num. Keep in mind this asterisk symbol only we need to use in parameter. Please, means when we are defining function, then only in function definition part we have to use this asterisk symbol, not everywhere, wherever we are using the program. Okay, and now if you want to print the multiplication of each number, then a into 2. So see the output, the multiplication of each number by 2 is being displayed here. Okay, so this is known as variable length argument. And variable length keyword argument, if you want to provide without sequential part, then we can use double asterisk symbol. So in this way it will be transferred in the form of keyword and with the value. It means a kind of dictionary will be created. For example, if I am writing here A Amit, B equal to some value, Somit, C equal to some value, Smith. Okay, and just use your double asterisk symbol. And now first of all print this num only. Print this num only. Okay, so now you can see the output. It is coming in the form of dictionary. So whatever variable we have passed, that is working as a key, and the value of that variable is value of this key. Okay, so it means if you're getting the value in the form of dictionary, so how to access the value? You can use the concept of dictionary. So this was all about variable length argument and default argument. Now next we have a recursive function. A recursive function is a function that calls itself within its own definition, right? Our function which is going to call its own body multiple times, means the calling part is also defined in the function definition, that is known as recursive function. Recursion is commonly used to solve problems that can be broken down into smaller parts, and it requires a repetitive subproblems. Okay, each recursive call works with a smaller version of input, and there is usually a base case to stop recursion. It is a very important point which we should note. First of all, recursive function is used for such kind of task where we need to provide very small input, single small input we need to provide for multiple recursion or multiple repetitive tasks. Okay, means each time the loop is working and your value is going to be passed from the other part of program after processing. And second, there should be a base case. Base case means it should stop that recursion. Recursion is a kind of loop. Exactly, it is not loop, but it works like a loop. When we call a function within its own body, then function take the part of loop and it keep on running infinite time until we are not providing base case. Base case means we need to provide such a statement which can stop the function, and that statement is there only one, which is return. So return statement in recursive function is used to stop the recursive process. Unlike break is used to stop the loop, but recursive function is not a loop. So that is why we need to use only return statement, which can bring the control out of recursive process. For example, as you can see on the screen, we have a small function of factorial in which we are going to calculate the factorial number of n. So when we are going to call the factorial function downside here, we are passing 5. Now this will come here in the function definition. Now if n equal to 0, if the value of n is going to be 0, which is not 0 right now, which is 5, then return means it will come out of this function back to the calling point. But else return n into factorial n minus 1. So what we are doing here, we are returning n into, we are multiplying the value of n with factorial n minus 1. So n minus 1 means again we are calling the same function but with n minus 1. We are going to reduce one value from the n. Now this process will go how many times? Till the value of n is going to be 0. Once it is going to be 0, it will return 1. Okay. So let's understand this case. Base case, when n 0 on 0 is 0, okay, the function returns 1 to stop the further recursion. And recursive case is here. See, when the value of n is going to be 5, then 5 into factorial 4. That time it is going to multiply with 4. And when it is going to call with the 4 value, then it is going to be call 3, and then 3 with 2, and then 2 with 1, and then 1 with 0. Okay. And then when it is going to be factorial 0, it is going to be the base case reached. Now in this way, what will happen? It is going to calculate 5 into 4, then 4 into 3, then 3 into 2, and then 2 into 1. Okay, till that it is going to be executed. In this way, our recursive function is going to execute. Okay, so it is little tricky, so you can understand with the help of one example. So this example you must run on your system and you once check one by one. Okay, and then you will be able to understand this recursive process. Thank you so much for watching the video. In the next video, we are going to discuss some more program based on the function. Thank you so much.